the school board director, the director of schools there, then the elected superintendent, and then the school board chairman and the county executive. So we've been occupants of that building since 1986. And so we've done some repairs over there. We've done some things to the, really some things that have been done to help us in our job as the school board to help our students. And we've done that in anticipation of making sure, trying to be good tenants. And that's what we are, we're tenants. And we're glad to help, just like if you rent a house and you want to do something and you want to help that and to do that house and get with the landlord and do it, and you do it. That's what we've done. We try to be good tenants over that time. And I said at that meeting and other meetings that we would be glad to go back and help on our third of the building. There's 3 stories. We're the bottom third, the occupant of that, and we will be glad to, on the things that were done, the things that were mentioned, lowering the fire alarms that are way up high. And we tried to ascertain why they're at, 7 feet tall to get to, but they're there probably because I didn't want kids to do down visitors to the hospital or gurneys or hit something hitting it, but they're way up high. They've got to be lowered to the specs on the alarm system. The double doors that are coming down the stairwells, probably on all 3 levels, will have to have magnetic lock or magnetic closures. So if the alarm activates, just like in our schools, when the alarm activates, then those doors will automatically close. And we said that we would be glad to do that on the bottom floor and be happy to do that. We've said that all along since day one, and be glad to do that. And so we've met, had some good cordial conversation between attorneys, which is good, between the school board attorney and Mr. Coates, and just saying what can we do. But there are some legalities there that we can have to work out. But we'd be glad to assist. And Chairman Fanning, I'll let you go from that aspect for the board.
I don't have a whole lot more to add to that. What I would like to say was communication was great. County executive did a real good job in presenting what he had to present. That's the way we ought to conduct all the meetings. I was impressed. What was laid on the table and offered, I felt like was a pretty good deal. I can't speak for the rest of the board. It's just me. The way I took it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we remain tenants. We help chip in some money to help fix and render this problem. And I'm all for that. I can't make that deal with you because we'll have to vote on it depending on what y'all do. But I was impressed with it. Cannon County remains the owner of the building, and we remain being tenants. We haven't paid rent since we've been there, but we have really maintained the floor that we occupy, and you guys are welcome to come over and look at it and see it. We continue to work together like this. I guess what we have to do next depends upon what y'all do. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Mr. Coates.
The third thing that they, Assistant Commissioner Bainbridge wants done is the sprinkler heads. Brent talked a lot about that with the commissioner, assistant commissioner. And so the commissioner agreed that if we can just take the heads off and then put some caps on, he'll be satisfied with that. We'll have to
So you're talking about shutting it off, basically,
shutting off the sprinkler system.
okay, capping it off.
Yes. Capping all the sprinklers and then decompressing the system so that it doesn't have any water in it. This will be.
They're okay to have a building without,
Sprinklers, yes.
huh?
Because of the type of business we have in it, the sprinkler is not required.
It was at one time when we built the hospital, it's not today because it's being reutilized as an office, so an office space in that house.
because of the cane fiber tiles. If the cane fiber tiles are painted or removed, then you do not, it is not required to have a sprinkler system.
So, that's where we are. Brent, has 2 employees that are gonna start working on the sprinkler system. And how much time do you estimate on that?
I just want to get through the paint process first.
Yes, we have to go through the paint process.
I have one
first.
employee who, now, I thought I was gonna have two, but I don't have enough room right now in my solid waste. I have essentially 3 part-time employees working solid waste, so I got to do that. But right now I have either, sort of, my number full-time. Thought I could work Brian West over some, but I've got to juggle that more with, I've had one employee out sick this week, so it's just kind of a time. Estimate, I mean, at least from start to finish, you got 300 sprinkler heads, you do the math on it, get it decompressed, that part, put that out, outside.
Correct.
Sprinkler, I'll have to get it decompressed first.
And then two, we're offering to utilize help in the process to utilize our maintenance personnel to help decompress, not just decompress, but to take the sprinkler heads off.
Yes.
I think an outside, Brent and I talked, Chairman's talked, we talked with the others about an outside agency who deals with us all the time to come in and decompress. Once we get to go ahead and decompress, then Brent and I worked out agreement where our maintenance personnel can assist in doing that too, to make it, do it quicker.
Now, as I said, I was told that I have to send to the assistant commissioner an update on what we're doing. First thing he wants to know is, what's the commission's decision? And so y'all can make that decision, but you gotta make it next meeting. We'll get the information that you're needing to make that decision. I have then got to send the assistant commissioner of Bainbridge a letter the next week, whether you do that, or whether you won't do that. That will make an immediate decision on what he's gonna do. If y'all vote for keeping the, building open, then I've gotta send him a letter every 2 months, tell him how we are progressing. Any questions? All right, thank y'all now. Oh, and I want to say, I appreciate the school board and I appreciate Brent because they're working to make sure that the county is saving money, and I think that deserves to be said, so you can get out from the months.
Thanks, sir. You got a question?
Yes. Are y'all wanting a decision on whether to keep this building functioning before we get a price on what it's going to cost?
We're gonna send the prices during this next, for the next meeting.
Yeah, you'll have, again, I'm just, based on contractors who shows up, we're gonna get it, we'll try to get that to you, that way, by the next meeting, you can have some numbers in front of you, and you can make some judgment call. And that's what, by March 5th, I think, for the next meeting, or March 7th.
Thank you. In those numbers, man, could you somehow get a quote to on replacing the tiles as compared to paint? Come back and say that paint, I know, not gonna be cheap, plus the labor putting it up too, not gonna be cheap.
That kind of is my question. I guess my question was going to be, why are we trying to save the tiles when we just take them down? Would it not be probably cheaper to take them down than it would be painted?
I'm not a fire expert, I just understand that if you take the tiles out, you got another problem with everything that goes between that and the ceiling. So that creates a whole other problem. The way they discussed it in the meeting with us, the easiest thing, the quickest thing to do would be to paint on the cane box tiles. That's what they said in the meeting with us. They didn't really discuss removing them, except for the fact, once you remove them, you get into a lot of unknowns, you got a lot of wiring, you got a lot of exposure, you may have to recoat it, the foam, things of that nature.
May have been, that's asbestos, as long as you don't move them around, asbestos is fine. But once you start moving things, you get that stirred up, then, talking about a huge amount of money.
Steve, you ever had any trouble, because I know you guys, like I said, renovated a lot down on that bottom floor with water damage and stuff, I mean, you had trouble with contractors coming in with asbestos?
Well, the building has been inspected, just like our schools are. The building has been inspected on the airflow. Mainly asbestos that is in there is surrounding the piping. Some of the piping has the asbestos insulation in it, and around the old boilers that's located in the maintenance bay. And of course, we deal with that all the time with the schools. And what we do, we just don't bother it. This is exactly right. You don't disturb it. As long as you don't disturb it, you're okay. No problem. But on some of the tiles, we just moved over those 4 tiles. Some at the old, and probably, I don't know if these predate asbestos or not, that are right below us, but as long as you have got that waxed over and you're leaving it alone, it's fine. It's when we've had a school situation at West Side where we have asbestos, and we paid asbestos division to come in, and they monitored that, and they checked that for us. We had to remove some things at West Side, because we had to actually go through a room that had the ceiling tile, that had these floor tiles on them, and so we had to dig out there, so you had to have them to come and remove that before the digging took place. Another place, there was a pipe in the West Side gym that over the years where balls had hit it and other things had hit it, that the asbestos inspector from the state wanted that pipe removed. So while we had the asbestos people there, we had them remove that pipe too. And it was pricey. It wasn't outrageous, but it was pricey. And removing that we just removed the total pipe.
Over here, central office, you had any trouble with asbestos when you get a contractor in?
Not as long as they know where it's at. If they know where it's at and they know that's that, there's been no problems at all with asbestos on the bottom floor. I cannot speak about other floors in the building because we're not occupying them. On our floor, we have that, they know it, we know where it's at.
Anybody? All right, moving to 13. Commissioner Rodney happy to discuss Old Hospital.
Basically, it's already said when I was before the table, I'll just make these comments and we'll go into the next item, I guess it is, the resolution. First, my mindset of where all this sort of evolved from, since the school board workshop, whatever it was, they had the meeting, first part of December, sort of, I use the term from my mindset, we got the word from the state that, hey, we'll fix it, we'll shut it down, some sort of panic mode on both sides, I guess, to a degree. But anyway, they had a workshop that they called, and Commissioners Corey, Newport, Russell Reed, myself, and everybody else that you know themselves were there for that meeting, had good conversation, the fire marshal, local fire marshal was there, etc. So anyway, as a result of the conversation that took place in that meeting, of the 3 things that were identified, the tiles, the sprinkler system, and the 24/7 need of monitoring, I'm being general, but that's the 3 big categories that he said has to be checked off. And further conversations that I had one-on-one with school director, Mr. Curtis, a couple of those on the phone, in his presence another time, with Mr. Fan, the chairman of the board, conversations with him since then. In my mindset, what had transpired at that point in time, the conversation that was taking place, and knowing where we stood as a county financially, in the budget that we're operating in for this fiscal year, we are not able to identify money that we had set aside, because there is none, to assist in this process of any major nature for a need potential to be given to it. From a standpoint of what Mr. Curtis, and please, if y'all would, Mr. Fan, Mr. Curtis, correct me and share your thoughts, to clarify, do whatever if I misspeak or it doesn't make sense. Because they have been very helpful and forthright in saying, all right, guys, we don't want to run the senior citizens out of the senior citizens up there. But that caused an almost panic mode based on the number of those that turned up at that meeting at night and the comments that were made. And yet they got a place to go if the doors are locked and electricity is cut off. So they were putting on the table their level of understanding based on what was known at that time, and still there's a lot of unknowns. Until you get into it, you really don't know what you got, expense-wise, and all the, what's gonna take to be done. So there's still a humongous amount of unknowns to be determined at this point. But they're offering at that point to say, look, you know, we got X number of personnel, maintenance personnel, that can come in here and help this solution. We can take the sprinkler heads off and put caps on if it gets depressurized. We can take the tiles, because at that time, there was a conversation with taking the tiles down. We can take the tiles down. And if I understood correctly, Mr. Curtis, that Darrell had even put on the table, yes, we can get some inmates over here to help you out. Just has to be under all the control conditions for all that to make that work. So in essence, out of the big three, two of them was pretty near, if things help, if something didn't blow up, top deal, but making some good progress in a short period of time. So from my perspective, you know, you sort of strike while the iron's hot and try to get this thing moving forward before somebody stands and says, whoa, wait a minute, you know, it's this or that, or, you know, some other hoops to jump through. They have the resources to help that. In fact, I asked Mr. Curtis, are they gonna be after the Christmas holidays? Anyway, in the world, get the maintenance in there, nobody's in there, bring in the folks from the sheriff, inmates over there to help, because it just seemed good timing, and of course, and understandably so, he did feel it was fair to his maintenance people to ask them to work when the holiday, whatever. And I understand that, but anyway, to me, in my mindset, sooner is better than later. They got more resources to make this happen sooner than later, based on what they've shared. And again, if I misspeak, y'all got to correct me.
I was at the meeting you were at, and that's why I asked that question about the tiles, because, I mean, we literally walked out with the fire marshal there that
Yes.
night, and he said, all you gotta do is take these down. He didn't mention nothing about painting them.
No painting, no replacement, but again, that's how that's how it changes, and we know, you know, different people get involved, different, whatever. But anyway, all that being said, in my mindset, I then went to county executive, and said, all right, Brent, you determine what are the proper regulations and all that that allows us to do something that puts the power and control into the major party that has the most to, I use it in my mindset, the most at stake. They got more employees over there than anybody does. And yet, they got another place for them to operate. So, to me, to step us out of the picture of having to run through us and get our approval on everything, and us sit here and hash it out in 4, 5, 6 meetings, and who knows what the end result is. Hey, that's where the resolution came from. Give them the opportunity to say, hey, if you want the building, it's yours. If you don't want it, don't take it. If you take it and it turns out bad, give it back to us. You know, that's the way I approach it. So that's why you got the resolution tonight. It ain't trying to do no in-run around nobody. It ain't trying to put something on somebody from a financial burden that they're gonna sit there and say, we can't afford it, we can't do it, whatever. This ain't nothing magic in this writing, whatever is agreed upon between the attorneys or whatever to say, we pay this, we fix that, or whatever, where it's agreed. Ain't no magic about this. To me, they've just got the most players in the game, and got the most resources now to have the most immediate impact. For us to have something going forward in good faith, so the state will give us time, hopefully through November, hopefully it's fixed before November, long before November. So I don't know, that's just where my thinking is. This is why you got it tonight, and again, ain't no magic about it. To me, just put an option on the table that at least show in a good faith measure, we're trying to help the scenario, trying to move this ball forward to the next step. Of getting some action versus just only talk. That's what.
We can debate on the resolution.
I was just wanting to ask Darrell, was the offer still standing to let him make sense?
On one condition, the other than that, we're there.
I mean, are y'all willing to accept it?
Yes.
Both of them?
Mr. Chairman, Chairman Fanfield joined me.
I mean, we got free labor here, I guess is what I'm saying.
What are you
The biggest thing, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We still don't know the assertion of the alarm system. I know where the alarm's at on the first floor. I have only been onto the second floor one time in my recollection. That I've been in a meeting there with the 911 board one time. That's the only time I've ever been on the second floor. So I've not looked at the second floor. I have been told by one alarm person, systems, equipment, security equipment systems that does our schools. They had come up and they've got a green tag on it. Now, green tag means this for those, green tag means everything's functioning and working. But, and that was, I don't know, Brent, that y'all looked at that. I don't-
We pay for that.
So other than that, that's all I know about the alarm system and how much would have to be done on the alarm. So Mr. Mahaffey is most assuredly correct. And there's some unknowns. And the unknowns is what I think the County Board of Education would have to consider were it to be offered to the Board of Education. I would think that unknown is what's there. But like I said, we will be partners. We'll assist as much as we can. And, we'll go from there. But the alarm, to me, is probably the biggest question mark, at least for our board. Okay?
It's of my understanding that Cannon County is in dire need of office space. We created a new job, and Hickman's here. I think Lena has to have a new office because of circumstances following, relating to the driver's license. I made an offer to Brent and the lawyer. I think our servers can handle what Ms. Hickman is, her job is coming. I think it'll save the county around $40,000. Our tech guys can handle that because our finances run through that. It's pretty much the same thing. What I'm saying here is I've made an offer to try to help the county save money. We can handle a lot of that. If you guys decide to keep that building and use it for yourselves, we've made an offer. Of course, like I said, I can't really speak for myself, but I think the rest of the board would more than agree to help out with our partner in getting this building as fire codes, and then you guys can use that and use facilities that the county has already paid for, which we have. They're using currently in our computer system and our tech guys to run it. So my proposal is we stay partners in this. We share in the cost of it together, and we try to get it operational for several uses. Her office, our office, maybe even possibly Lena's, and sharing the cost. I think that would work better for all of us because I don't think the school system is able to take on the whole thing, and then we've got the insurance and the maintenance of the whole building from here on out. I don't think the Board of Education wants that. I don't know, but I don't think.
And one of the things, Mr. Chairman, if you can, we talked with Executive Bush too, and Mr. Coates, in regard to looking at, I hate going by a gentleman's agreement that none of us know about much. Joe Daniel's still around, and we talked to former Superintendent Jody Davenport in regard to that, but nothing's ever been written down either there. We want to sit down with the school board's attorney and Mr. Coates and Brent and myself and Chairman, you also, Mr. Chairman, and just sit down and say, okay, this is what an agreement would be in regard to the specifics of this whole situation. As Mr. Fan addressed there, is to work it together. That's what we're here to do, is work together, and that's what we need to all along on multiple issues. But I would suggest to doing that is that our attorneys talk, and we'll come up with an agreement in regarding a tenant landlord, because that's what we are to to the senior citizens building. We're a landlord to them, literally, for them. And you're the landlord of us, and it's all of us, working together and doing what we can. But we need to put something down. And Mr. Coates and our attorney, Mr. Jennings, is certainly in unanimous agreement that something needs to be written down. And, we're going by general agreement, like I said, since 1986. And that's where, because we don't have something written down, that we just try to be good tenants, as we would have us to be. But that's what I would suggest. Thank you.
Thank you.
To go ahead to another step, I apologize to Director Curtis and to Chairman Fan. Rick made me aware of this, and Greg, if I'm incorrect, I'm sorry, but I think he said he emailed this to you as well on the Regions office.
Yes.
I Rick brought me a copy here and had on a thing tonight. And it's part of this discussion of Old Hospital. I know this has been brought up several months ago. I can't remember what was said, other than the fact it was a possibility. The old Regions building over here, the space that is, and I'm going to say on the bottom. I think you know where it is. It's sort of over there next to where the drive-through teller is on that side of the building over there. Had been pursued before, and just could not get a response, is my understanding, from them. So pursued again, and lo and behold, this afternoon at some point, Bob Park's representative said, okay, they finally got back to me, and yes, they will accept an offer of $1,500 a month for that roughly 4,000 square feet building over there for a 5-year period. The only thing that they had changed from the first go around was, the real one had changed, it was just a clarification, you make it hit the nail on the head, as we say, that we're responsible for the utilities and the maintenance on that portion of the building, which is pretty common in rental scenarios, type you certainly the utilities of it, and whatever maintenance on the part you're in, that you're responsible for. Having said that, with the needs of Landon's office, with the need of director, with needs period based on offices that people are occupying that we know are absolutely in need of significant capital outlay expenditures if they remain in those offices, whether you're talking Old Hospital or you're talking this building here. As a commissioner, I just have to believe you have to look at this and give it serious consideration with the location of it, which we got requirements of various offices being located in certain in the city limits type deal versus outside, with the space size, with the office sort of type use it was before, would be similar type office now. Yes, there would be some expense being set to put offices up over there to make it work and go forward, but what I'm trying to say is you're not knocking down walls and tearing down whatever to make it work. So, I wish I had it earlier so everybody would have been aware of it and seen it, and certainly but didn't. So, to me, you sort of put that in the same package of this whole deal rather than separating things this and evaluating this. Anyway.
If I may add, I want to make sure that everybody's aware too, Diane, you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure the finance director. The only budget outlay, the only budget lines we have, that we have $20,000 in rental to go to this option. And we have $42,000 in building maintenance, of which we spent $20,000. We have an estimate of $10,000 to repair and to make an office space for Diane over there in the Old Baptist Hospital. And so, and I'm not sure where that $10,000 would come from to do that. And that's with labor from within our organization and with some inmate labor, if we can get that. So, again, all these discussions still doesn't